look at the birth, it's always in the passive voice when dealing with Matthew 1 and 16. So now it's like when you look at this, dealing with this topic, you always got to remember that when we look at Matthew 1 and 16, it's going to always be in the passive voice and never in the active voice. So last but not least, when you look at grammar, grammar exposes the it tells us the intent and the thought of the actual author. You know what I'm saying? So when we use a concordance, we have to learn how to use the concordance correctly. You know what I'm saying? What's your thoughts on that, Zion?
Before I share my thoughts, we got a juggernaut that just entered the building. Shout out to Priest Hakah. Genesis is in the building.
Genesis.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, man, first and foremost, all praise to the Most High. Good to be here, man. And it's from what we've been going through for the last few weeks with our doctrinal changes. And like the mighty Hebrew said, you got to get back out here to Hilltop too, brother. 253 in the building. Tag town. But like mighty Hebrew said, it takes a lot of courage, sincerity, and genuineness to approach your millions, hundreds of thousands or even hundreds of supporters and people learning under your tutelage to come and say, you know what? We were wrong on that. We didn't get that right. And like Zion said, people love the lie. And the lie is profitable. I like that. I'm going to use that Friday, Lord willing. The lie is profitable if the community is indoctrinated. The lies are profitable if the community is indoctrinated. So at this point of, my ministry, my journey with the Most High, I am not ashamed to come out here and say, we didn't see that right. We should have studied ourselves, and instead of just perpetuating the traditions of the elders that taught us and having so much faith and trust in these men who we looked at as to be infallible. And so there's two parties that are both wrong here. That's the elders for perpetuating some falsehood. And then that's also us not studying to show ourselves approved. So, yeah, I definitely feel embarrassed about a few points my brother Zion made. And I'm looking more to study to show myself approved, look into the language, look into these. I'm very good at textual criticism and the composition and the transmissions, but understanding the actual language is another thing. So I'm excited Friday. I'm going to have to say, look, Friday I'm going to make my decision. No, I'm joking. I am excited. I am excited for Friday, though. I'm excited.
One thing I think that this will be dope, if our community could be more humble, like you said, and accept correction, edification. What's funny, Deacon and Priest Hakah, we all teach among our congregation, among our community, among our following. We all teach that edification is good. Yet among the leadership, edification is good until I need to be edified. Then it's not good. Edification is cool until I'm the one that is on the receiving end, of that edification. So most people is just full of it, you know what I mean, to keep it real. But I want to say something that's funny, but also real, man. I wanted to see this day come where we could change our views on the language, because to be honest, being somebody that's been studying for so long and just knowing that it's just so problematic, the One West, I'm glad to see this day. Also, it rings my hairs when I hear names like JediYAH and Contessa. I'm sorry, I just had to say that, but go ahead.
Hey, look, just real quick. Hey, look, just real quick. I want to say this. Hey, look, when we learn the language and understand the language and the grammar, anybody that's listening, it's going to make you go back and question a lot of the so-called doctrine that you've been taught. You know what I'm saying? Because Hebrew and Greek is very intentional. You know what I'm saying? So Greek does more ways with expressing than Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? But Hebrew is very intentional. You know what I'm saying? So no matter what you believe, you can't get around the grammar. The grammar is what's going to destroy the doctrines that you may have believed. You know
Well, I'm going to disagree slightly, Judah.
Go ahead.
and that's okay, because I know we can do that among brothers. There's nothing personal about that. And here's why I say, and I know you weren't fully saying this, but I'm going to also say this because there's always someone that's not understanding, right? There's only but so far the language barrier gets in understanding the text, because watch this.
Yes.
The whole first century Common Era Jews read Hebrew, read Aramaic, and there was still difference in doctrines.
Okay.
We can't say that the Jews that accepted Christ didn't know Hebrew, didn't understand Hebrew grammar, which is what a lot of Old Testament Israelites speak. Oh, y'all don't understand the grammar. That's why y'all accept the Mashiach.
Yeah.
Them dudes that accepted Christ, the Messiah, Jesus, Yeshua, they know Hebrew and Aramaic better than anybody in this room right now.
And look, and you're right.
Look, all the way real.
And I'm glad you brought that up. I guess I'm coming more so from like your modern perspective on people who don't, and as they come into it, they'll begin to question what they've been taught. It's more so coming from that.
The interpretation of the text is a matter of understanding our culture, our history, and the language. The language plays a great role, but that ain't it. We could be on the same page with the language and have horrible understanding. Shout out to Paradigm, because they're pretty good in Hebrew, but they are horrible in interpreting the scriptures.
And it's funny to say that, because like, if, like, for example, when we look at the New Testament, if you just know Greek without understanding the Hebraic thought pattern behind it, you'll be in trouble. So what you said, hey, look, hey, you right, you right.
Also to chime in, you could be in the state of Israel, it's Israel, and people over there, they speak Ivrit, but they don't be, many of them don't have no understanding of Tanakh, Torah, nor the New Testament. So just because you can speak Hebrew, if you don't have the Hebrew thought, then that's the problem. But I wanted to chime into Brother Genesis real quick, and shout out to the 253. You know what I'm saying? Give a shout out to, all my comrades in Federal Way, Tacoma, Washington. I done a lot while I was out there, bringing a lot of the Israelites together. You know what I'm saying? But I want to say something to you, and it's not to be in disagreement, but just to, I see this thing that y'all going back and forth with salvation for the Gentile. And I just want to give just a brief synopsis of maybe it should be looked at more of a geopolitical stance. Now, I know from a religio standpoint, us coming from out of Christianity and different walks of life, when we speak about salvation given unto the Gentiles, we speak of it more or less like in the conversion sense. Verse, if we look at the Torah as our constitution and the Israelite nation as the governing body politic, would you agree somewhat that salvation for the Gentile will only be when Israel is a self-autonomy, controlling their own demarcation stations, and then these Gentiles or Goyim can come amongst us and be Israelite citizens, not Israelite nationals, but Israelite citizens by the way of naturalization? Do y'all get what I'm saying? Versus a conversion. Because when you go to other nations, you can't just go to Japan and convert to be Japanese. Or you can't just come to Tanzania and convert to be Tanzania. They have laws that they have to, that you have to naturalize yourself and go through the process of becoming naturalized. Would you look at salvation for the Gentiles being a form of naturalization in the Israelite community versus conversion?
That's a fact. That's a fact. We got to bring back protocol. If I disagree with something that Priest Hakah is teaching online, I should be able to reach out to him directly before I have a YouTube video. It's crazy that some of us be like, yo, that's the Ak, that's my brother. And then they see me teach something online or see me say something, publicly. And before they reach out to me, which they can, there's a video up. That's crazy. Where they do that at? We remember the old One West, right here in New York. The Nabi, the guy that used to rap the Turbans. You know him by name, Mighty Hebrew. I forgot his name. Panamanian brother. Yaakov. Right. He would go to the old One West and would build with Abba Bibbins. A lot of people don't remember that Abba Bibbins was a Tanakh dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people
And
forget
Chief
that.
Nephtali.
Of
And Chief
course.
Nephtali.
And our two communities used to build a lot, the old and new. That separation came a little bit after he died, like circa the 70s and the 80s. That's when that real separation came. But the Old Testament community, which was predominantly based in Brooklyn, would always come out to Harlem and vice versa. And then we also had a base in Chicago, you know, the El Rukins, the Israelites in Chicago and all that.
Right.
We have, you know that history. So I'm saying that that doesn't have to be a period, good brothers. We could add a comma to that. We can continue that. We could continue having relationships cross communities among the leadership, and that trickles down to the people. Every difference don't gotta be a YouTube video, man. And it's gonna take us that got real genuine hearts, that don't care about fame, fortune, all that dumb stuff, but really, really want to see Israel make it, really want to bust some heads that come for the Bible. If we can get our stuff together and make sure that when we disagree, we try to keep it as in-house as we possibly can, so long as the issue is not morals and ethics. Morals and ethics got to be exposed. I'm sorry. But doctrinal difference, homeboy, call me before you do a video. Why you got 8 videos against me and I thought me and you was cool? That's weird behavior. That's not how brothers move. So I would like to see among our leadership that just like how we doing this here, why we can't meet up a couple times a year, do a lecture together, or have conversations together. That way that helps to build a community, yo. The Israelite community can be repaired, but we have to want to repair this, man. We got to.
Yeah, I believe we still got a chance. We got a chance. As long as we all got oxygen and the spirit of the Most High in us, we have a chance to make this community better and to progress instead of staying stagnant and antiquated. So I'm pushing for that, as I believe to be younger than, of course, the elders who've been in this thing. I do consider myself still in my youth, right? But I have men under me, half my age, and we want to leave what the elders failed to do, which they did a great job with the resources and, you know, utensils that they had at their time. What they did fail to do is set up successors under them. So it's our job for my age is to set up successors under us and say, you know what, I want to teach these young brothers every single thing I know, not keep things to myself to where I'm deifying myself as the one with the mystical knowledge and yeah, they got to go through me. I'm now the doorway and the pathway to get these esoteric breakdowns. No, everything the Most High gives, we put it back into our congregation, into our community, into our nation. So the differences, like the brother Zion said, the differences of doctrine, if it's not moral issues, then that can be handled behind the scenes. So what we've been trying to do lately is, okay, all the camp leaders that have an issue with this Gentile salvation doctrine, hit us up privately. We would love to deal with this publicly because demonstration is better than conversation. So we would love to deal with it publicly. But before anybody says, oh, you just want to embarrass me or destroy me and make me look bad, we've been trying to have these, you know, isolated behind the scene phone calls about doctrine. Now, if we can't get a hold of somebody who is cloud chasing and using our name and name, image, and likeness for their to grow their platform, then there's nothing else for me to do except for respond with a video. But that's not what we want to do. So I'm obliged. I'm ecstatic. The Most High is doing something new in the community. And once you get somebody like us who are coming from One West to cross and build the bridge in this gap, then I believe a lot more camps will follow suit and understand that there's some people, it's so blood and crippin' over here in One West that if we don't deal with congregations outside of One West, we were calling you guys house niggas and saying we were the field niggas. It's so blood and crippin' and political over here at One West that it's taboo to even be on here talking to you brothers, having a good time, chilling, talking wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.
Facts.
So that's what we want to break down.
Hell yeah, man. Facts. Listen, man, if anybody wants to join the live stream, you can. This is one of those rare moments where I'm definitely willing to thug it out a little bit and you know, have a live stream a little longer than usual. Again, the aim of my presentation is not to expose Shah Ariala. You know what I'm saying? I'm having fun with the presentation because it just so happens that a lot of our people in the metrics of 2025, they don't lock in unless they can laugh and joke. So sometimes you got to make the education entertaining. So that's what that was about. But good brother Shah, it's nothing personal. You know, I got tough skin. You know, I know you do too. We men, you know what I'm saying? If me and Priest Hakah can be on the same live stream, knowing that, you know, we used to trade words back in the day. The fact that we used to trade words back in the day, myself and Priest Hakah, but it was never too crazy. Why we can't come together, man? You know, I think some of these men aren't really men, to be honest. To be brutally honest, because men,
no, they're men. They're just yes men.
Yeah, yes men, man. Like I feel like men gonna fight. That's what men do. Men, when we disagree, you know, somebody might get punched, somebody might get snuffed, somebody might get their, you know, their snot box rocked. It happens. We men, but as men, we should be able to wipe that blood and come back together. People that still harboring feelings and I'm upset, to me that's girly stuff. That's not how men move. And we need the restoration of the men back in Israel. Women are being women. We need the men to be goddamn men.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm not still mad at nobody for anything that happened in the past. The past is the past. And if I could quote the New Testament, somebody gonna be upset by this. How many times should I forgive my brother?
70 times 7.
So if you understand that asking the Creator for forgiveness is null and void if you don't have forgiveness for your brother, then there's no reason why we can't always come back to the drawing board, so long as nobody drew the line morally and ethically. A lot of us is cutting people off because of doctrines. Meanwhile, y'all got rapist uncles hanging around the crib and y'all still saluting them.
Come on now. Yeah. You're right.
Sound like he's saying, it sounds like he's saying somebody got to set you up.
Yeah, listen, man, I'll be down to come on any of you brothers' podcasts. Y'all ever want me to join, man? I would love to come on.
I need that.
I mean, I would love to come on any topic. You know, with me, I always tell people, ask me anything. Just don't talk about my family. I'm very guarded about my personal life. But, you know, doctrine and all that, I'm with. There's no question that's off the table. No, I don't want no pre-answers. I want an organic conversation. Don't hit me with, I'm going to send you a list of the questions. Nah, ask me on the spot. Know that I know my stuff. I got people that come on here with all due respect, and I'm not disrespecting those of you that did it, but I still need to speak my truth. There's a lot of respectable leaders and teachers in the community that I was surprised when they was like, yo, you're going to hit me with the questions so I could know what you're going to say. And I'm like, damn, don't you know what you know? Right. I like organic conversation. Freestyle. Like, y'all want to be rehearsed? Oh, come
Zion,
on.
You remember when you interviewed me about when I think we had a conversation with the two-part joint about Yeshua, about more Yeshua Volume 3, right?
Right.
It wasn't, we didn't prepare it, nothing. It just, he was just coming. What about this? What about that? What about this? What about this? We from the old school, so everything got to be on cap. But I want to say something since my brothers is here. Y'all, I gotta be frank with my brothers. You know what I mean? We got to support more of of the things that we doing on the ground. Like right now, as y'all know, I got the ancient band, and I want to thank the Most High for the work that He causing me to do. But I wouldn't be able to do it without the strength of the Most High and the people supporting. And we got the ancient band through Hebrew Israelite Awareness Center here. We have, you know, the farmhouse, the guest house. Want to give a shout out to Professor James Small. He made a contribution, you know, some months ago. He's going to come visit us over here. But to the family that's on the panel, you know, right now, I know y'all know what's been going on because of the political strife over here in Tanzania. The United States Embassy had contacted all foreigners over here, so we're basically locked down because they've been protesting. Over 3,200 people been slaughtered, you know what I mean, within the past 3 weeks. So we have to have supplies and things like that. We can't even go to the market. We have to get like a special boater driver to, you know, get the stuff for us, bring it. So if y'all can contribute, Brother Zion, any of y'all to the cause, it's much needed over here. You know what I mean? It'll help us to maintain water, gasoline, and stuff like that.
I will definitely help to spread that word. If you can, you know how we can reach out. You know what I mean? Just send the complete info, and I will definitely help to spread that word. Guys, I gotta definitely shout out this brother again. This brother is a really good brother because whenever he's on a platform, he contributes on multiple levels. And I know that there's always somebody thinking, man, why he giving them money, man? He was just giving me money. If we had more brothers like this, man, we'd have a greater community. Support shouldn't just be that these are my guys and I mess with them. Support should be, I want to see the community grow. And financial resources help us to grow, man. So big shout out to the brother. I call him Moray Troublemaker. But, you know, he's a very good brother, man. I love that brother. Thank you once again for your donation and your contribution. And to all the brothers on the panel, man, we could get it right. We got this, man. We got this. Another brother entered the chat. I'm going to allow him to introduce himself. Tell us, you know, whatever he would like to go into. And then, you know, it's up from there.
Shalom, brothers. How y'all doing on the panel?
Shalom, Hakah.
Shalom, okay.
Let's go. Shalom.
To the Most High. I was just checking it out. My brother Judah Moshe sent me a link, and I said, let me, you know, see what's going on with the brothers and stuff like that. I love the discussions on the language. Beautiful topic. A lot of truth that Israel needs to know. A lot. I want to give my flowers to a lot of the elders that came before us. And we had some great teachers. And I visited the One West school several times back in the day, back in the 90s, and seeing some of the elders teach there and so forth. But I think that it's good to see that we got brothers on the panel that understand the need for growth and like in Israel's need to move forward. And the language is a big part of that. So thank you for sharing a lot of jewels with the Brother Zion to the people concerning the importance of the language. I know Brother Judah Moshe, he does the same for the language. And, you know, I think if Hebrews focus more on the things where we do agree, you know, unless it's a salvation issues, I can understand saying, well, hey, I can't walk with that. But if these things are not salvation issues, I think we should learn to be more patient and more understanding as a family. And Priest Hakah, shout out to you for standing up for the truth. You stood for the truth.
I'm getting crucified,
Brother, I got crucified for Hebrew.
Okay.
I got crucified for trying to restore the language. I got crucified for trying to restore the name of the Most High. I got crucified. I was Torah only community. They crucified me for believing in the Messiah. You know, it's part of the walk. You know, if we hey, shalom out here, Toda. If we're faithful to endure persecution for the sake of Messiah, then he gonna find us faithful to rule with him. So, like, you know, those are things that kind of got me through some of them hard times. But I commend you for standing up. You know, I got a brother Gentile named Cornelius, and he's a Gentile that's been keeping the law with us for almost 10 years. And, you know, and I'm still trying to work to build him up to build the Gentiles up. You know, but I understand that the need for our own distinct groups as Hebrews, aside from them, but certain times of the year we should all, especially I think it's the Feast of Tabernacles, we're all supposed to fellowship together in Zechariah 14, the Yehudim, the Israelites, the Hebrews, and the Gentiles. That's a commandment in Zechariah 14. At least once a year they're supposed to fellowship. But man, I commend you because I know that's not easy. And I went to One West several times. I got family who had some of the camps in One West. you know. And at that time, I seen certain things that I was like, you know, I see a lot of truth here, but certain things like the language, certain things like certain doctrines, I was like, yo, I know it's easier to fit in with the crowd, you know, because more
Yeah.
people accept you. But if you stand on the word of the truth, the Most High is going to support you. So I commend you too for that, Brother Zion. I don't think I got a chance to meet you when I was in the Hebrew community, but I'm very familiar with Shema and
Okay.
the brothers over there. Very familiar. And my father was great friends with the elders over there.
That's
You know,
what's up, man.
you know.
Small
So
world, man.
yeah, you know, yeah, my father was real tight with them over there. So I just commend y'all brothers for this, and shalom to all the other brothers on the panel too, and everyone making you know, sincere strides to
How can we find you online? And I also see in the comment section that you're an author. So
This is
where,
book right
where do
here.
we go to where do we go to find your works? And how do people find you online?
Here we
oh
go.
man, you know, Torah, HebrewIsraeliteScriptures.com is our website. Where we, you know, we produce made for Hebrew by Hebrew scriptures with the Hebrew New Testament, the Hebrew Old Testament,
Wow.
the missing books. We got books, missing books translated from Hebrew and English, grammar books for our people, made by our people, for our people, with images of our people within it. You know, that's some of the things that inspired me seeing some of the elders. Did you know Maury Mishael?
Of course, I know Maury Mishael and all his sons. Come on, Maury
Yeah.
Mishael was inspirational in teaching us Hebrew. Most
Yeah.
of us here in New York City, as you
Yeah.
know, he went into the land of Israel. Ben Ami had him go and teach the elders down there. Maury
Mm.
Mishael was bad. You know, his children, he would punish them if they were speaking English in the house.
They couldn't speak English in the house.
Couldn't
Yeah,
speak
I used
English
to
in
go
the
to that
house.
sometimes, man. They couldn't speak no
Yeah,
English. People don't
that's
know
right.
about that stuff. Did you know
That's
Cohen
right.
Levy?
Cohen Levy is the teacher of Principal, my teacher. I met Cohen Levy several times when he was at B'nai Adat. I know his son that took over after him, Cohen JediYAH-EL. We all
Yeah,
know each other, man. I've been in the community maybe not as long as you. I come in 1994.
in
So by
'94.
that time, Cohen Levy is still strong. By the way, if I could give a little quick history, I know you know this.
Mm-hmm.
Cohen Levy was supposed to meet with Malcolm X one week before he died. He had a
Mm-hmm.
scheduled meeting with Malcolm. Malcolm I had his ear all the way open to the Israelite movement, and he just
Okay.
so happened to be murdered 1 week before a scheduled meeting with Cohen Levy. That's how bad Cohen Levy was, man. He was very
That's,
inspirational.
and he started preaching. Malcolm X started preaching about the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Yeah,
You know
a
what I'm
lot of
saying?
people
He
don't
started
know that a lot of
up.
Israelites was next to him around
Mm-hmm.
this time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Yeah,
fact.
So, like
They
when
even
those
they
elders
even made a
died,
movie on them.
hmm,
They even made, if you look at the old original Malcolm X movie with Morgan Freeman, you will see Malcolm X going into the school. I don't know if he was portraying Kohen Levi or somebody in the Israelite community, and he was a bookseller, but he was an Israelite, and he was schooling Malcolm X that we were the Israelites in that movie that Morgan Freeman played as the original Malcolm X movie before
mm,
Spike Lee's Malcolm.
mm,
that's right, man. Cohen Levy wrote almost I won't say all. Let me rephrase that. He wrote several of the Israelite songs in our community from here to New York to Chicago to Guyana. He wrote a lot of songs, man. That brother was brilliant. He was another one that stressed knowledge of Hebrew. When I first went to B'nai Adat in the fall of 1995, and I heard him reading from the Torah in Hebrew fluently, and then closing out the session praying, and y'all that know Cohen Levy, praying for damn near 10 minutes in Hebrew, not even
mm.
touching English.
That's
I
right.
was like, damn, I want to be like that.
That's when they passed away. That's what really inspired me to take the Hebrew a step
Yeah.
higher, because I was like, I said a prayer to the Most High, especially when I think Maury Mishael died after he did, and I was like, "Yah, who's going to carry this language?" The great, the great teachers is they're passing away,
That's right.
and who's going to carry the torch?
Come on.
Oh, and that was my prayer, and then from that, then I think Most High helped me that much more with the language, but. Yeah, Hakah, man, we got to, for anything worthwhile doing, we're gonna face that persecution, brother. So I commend you on that. And
hopefully I can link up with you too. I asked a good brother, I said, we're trying to create this dream team. I told Zion-Lex that. I told Divine Prospect that. I asked another brother, who else can we get on the forefront? I know the Mighty Hebrews doing the groundwork, but I was speaking more of the apologetic work. And the brother mentions your name, JediYAH, JediYAH, hopefully I'm saying that right. And I think, did I talk to you before some years back?
I think I messaged you once or twice. We might have messaged each other. And back when you was trying to do some, I think, discussions on the calendar, I had some of my people try to reach out to you as well, so we could try to build on that topic. Maybe that's a topic in the future we could discuss on the calendar and stuff like that. But yeah, man, yeah, keep pushing, brother. Like, it's inspiring. It's not an easy truth. It's just like a man that got a wife, right? And he treated his wife the best he could or whatever. And she goes out and she cheats on him. And then he starts dealing with a new woman. You know what I'm saying? And then he might consider reconciling with that first woman. That first wife, she might be a little bit jealous that he got somebody else in the picture. And that's kind of how it is with some of the Gentiles coming into the truth and us as Hebrew being the first wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were here first. Like, this is, you know what I'm saying? This is our house. This is all that. But at the end of the day, if we did wrong and he started to say, hey, I'm going to, and he started having somebody else, then how could we get mad if he's willing to take us back? So it's not an easy thing for our people. But it is the truth. And I've been teaching that in Amos 9 for a while about the remnant of Edom. That's going to be
so glad. Look at God. I'm going to tell you how the Most High works. I wasn't even going to ask because I wanted to ask Zion-Lex. I wanted to ask Zion-Lex about the Hebrew structure of Amos 9 and 12. And you just brought it up. So the Most High wants it to be talked about. Yeah. In Amos 9 and 12, some people are purporting that those that are called by his name are not the Gentiles. you guys being, scholars in the language, can you guys speak on that a little bit in Amos 9 and 12? Because again, my dear brother Ariella, who is a friend of mine, I talk to him every other day, but I disagree with him vehemently. He's saying that they that are called by my name in Amos 9 and 12 are the tabernacle of David, are the Israelites, and not the Gentiles that are called by his name. Now, I see it as the Gentiles being called by his name, a remnant of them that choose to repent. But what say y'all? And can we get some exegetical expertise?
I'm gonna let the brothers handle that.
Let me pull it up here real quick in Hebrew.
I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up too. Okay. Brother, JediYAH-EL, more right.
Hey, shalom,
can I ask you? Shalom, Adoni. How you feeling? Boker Tov to everybody in the morning. Lala Tov to all y'all that's at night. Quick question. You don't mind me asking, who was your Abba?
Daniel Ben Lewi. He was studying to be a rabbi, so he was Rav Daniel Ben Lewi. He was at Bnei Adat.
Oh wow!
Yes, I'll be the Abba. I would my spiritual Abba is Prince Cass.
Say that again.
From my I used to, matter of fact, all my sons were circumcised by Rabbi over there in Bnei Adat.
Baruch.
Rabbi Yahuda and Ima Bathsheba.
Okay.
They did all my sons. Sir, I'm from Philly, but now I live in Dimona and I live in Tanzania. So I've been out here now like 5 years.
Say what? Yeah. That's where we were from. My father was a rabbi there, and we used to read the Torah scrolls. The Torah scrolls ain't have no vowel points. You had to know how to read.
You had to know how to read. Yup. You had to know how to read. When you come up to the Torah to give Aliyah, as we say, there's no nikud. You know, you got to know your stuff. You got to get up there and you got to speak, man. You got to chant. And most of us aren't there yet, but hopefully we will get there yet. And I feel inspired to say this in a moment. We got to all come back and do a show showing the history of the leaders in the movement, man. Talk about the movers and the shakers and their contribution, because as cliche as I know this going to sound to some people, we ain't going nowhere without paying homage to our elders that paved the way for us to have a goddamn voice right now.
We've been talking about this dying a long time, me and you. We got to do this.
Some of us act like the Israelite movement ain't had movement until we got in it, and that's crazy to think. Our elders put in work. Even and let me be clear for the record. Y'all will hear me critique One West Lashawan. Y'all will hear me critique some of their doctrine, maybe most of their doctrine. You will never hear me say, "Oh, I'm gonna destroy them. I'm gonna take them off of the Israelite community." Because guess what? Much of what One West did in terms of being on those street corners, whether I agree with them cursing at people, whether I agree with their approach, it was effective to the extent that the world knows that there are Israelites, meaning that the Creator got a job for all of us. We all doing it in different ways. Some people go too far and accrue sin, but nonetheless, who am I to arrogate to myself that I should go and destroy those brothers because I don't like their doctrine? Me knowing in my heart the Creator is so powerful that he can even take us in our lowly estate and do amazing things with us. We got to be careful on this tear down, expose culture. The Creator has some of us working in spaces and places towards his will. And those of us that's knocking people down because of they, certain sins or certain things, listen, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Listen, everybody here is a David in potential, right before God and man, but at times you get into things. So I say that to say, exposed culture is necessary when you have extreme immoral behavior. Apart from that, chill out, homeboy. Right. Nobody doctrine is bulletproof. We all gonna get it wrong sometime.
It's true, man, because like what you said about the younger brother who was critiquing the work. If you don't even have a teacher, like how can you be a teacher? If you never had teachers teach you the language, and we got in our history, it would be great to have a history of our awakening here in the country, in America and throughout. But the camps came on strong in the late 60s, and you got to understand history. Like the Israelite awakening, especially for the assemblies and congregations, that's as far back as 1919. Like you had, the congregations in Harlem, that was back 100 years plus.
Commandment
keepers, right? And their struggle was a little bit different, and then through the time, we had the civil rights movement and the commandment keepers and that first generation of Hebrews. The awakening was all throughout the country, and they call it the Harlem Renaissance. But the Renaissance was really, we was waking the people up. And then out of that began to inspire a lot of other stuff. World culture is going to write us out. They never include a lot of that had to do with Israelites waking up the people. Marcus Garvey as well. And some of his head dudes were Hebrew. They were Israelites.
That's a fact.
And what began to happen is as time began to go, we start having a civil rights movement. Civil rights leaders are marching, some of them getting killed, and then it culminates with Malcolm X being assassinated, then King getting assassinated. So you got to understand, after all of the marching and all of the trying to be friends with our enemies and all that stuff wasn't working because they're killing our leaders. So the camps had to come out. You had to have a militant group of brothers stand up.
Yep.
So that's around like the late 60s. You had to have that. So I would never condemn the camps for militancy ever.
That's right.
Ever.
That's right. Them brothers are needed, man. Them brothers are needed. To be honest, and I don't want to sound, chauvinistic. I don't want to sound too crazy, but in my experience, if I keep it all the way real, a lot of the really scholarly brothers, they not gonna throw down when it come to throw down. To be honest, I know that there are scholarly warriors out there because we Israel. I know that does exist, but to be honest, I haven't met or been made aware of too many scholarly brothers that are willing to function dual-fold like a David, a scholar and a warrior. So we all got our path. You know, some people are scholars, some people are warriors, some people are warriors and scholars, but we all need each other, man. And this cutting down, exposed culture is crazy. I want to comment on a comment that I see on the comment section, and then you brothers could jump right back in. Someone says, Zion Lexx, are you familiar with Cohen Mikael from Guyana in Barbados? Here we have Barbados.
Bought my father in the truth.
Cohen Mikael is a bad, in the words of my teacher, Principal, Cohen Mikael is a bad motorcycle, baby. Cohen Mikael is no joke. He's another one that when it comes to he's another one that when it comes to language, that is a legend in the community. What? Let me just get this one point out. Okay. Cohen Mikael wrote the book Israelites and Jews, The Significant Difference. The very first week that he released that book, he came to Shema Israel, my congregation in Brooklyn, New York, and he did an official book signing after the Shabbat, and he also went over that book with us. Cohen Mikael is a powerhouse. By the instruction and command of Cohen Levy, he relocated to Guyana, South America, started a community there. His children moved from New York to Charlotte, North Carolina, and formed the Hebrew congregation of Charlotte in North Carolina, and they doing their thing for now, I believe, almost 20 years that his children been down there building that community. That's a legend. So to answer your question, brother, you goddamn right. I know Cohen Mikael as well as some other people that's here. That's a powerhouse. He got to be celebrated. He's still around. You know, he may not visit the States as much as he used to. You know, he's getting, he's up there. He's an elder, but we love him. We salute him. And his name needs to be known more than a lot of the people we see. You know, I'll say this. What's insane and diabolical is how some of the amazing elders that paved the way for us, their name is unknown, but the people that make us an embarrassment, everybody knows their name. That's crazy. We got to change that.
We published a book, and in the intro of the book, it's a book on like the Hebrew calendar and the signs of heaven and so forth. And in the intro of that book, I mentioned all of the elders, even the camp elders, and the history coming out of slavery. Israelite awakening started not just coming out of slavery, in slavery. You know, Nat Turner was a Hebrew. He knew who he was, and that's why he did the slave rebellion. And then you have many like what's her name? I forget her name. Harriet Tubman and believers. You know, so they came out in slavery, and then in the early 1900s, this is some of the things a lot of the camp brothers don't know. A lot of the congregations, we was around like in the early 1900s, you know.
Come on.
Teaching the people who they were, teaching about the Most High, teaching the law, statutes, and commandments, teaching the culture. And then, and you know, so that's all the way up until like around the late 60s, and the camps came on the scene. But a lot of the brothers in the assemblies don't recognize the work that the camps did. They had to become a militant group. So you need one another. You know what I'm saying? You need one another as a nation. So doctrine is where that we can have disagreements, but let it be on salvational type things and not trivial things. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's salvation, a person could lose their soul, their life, not make the kingdom. We don't want to see that. But I just want to say, man, I commend y'all brothers, man, for the work y'all doing for Israel, and I appreciate having this gathering, for us to discuss together. I hope it's edifying for the people.
Speaking of discuss, remember,
I would love that you make.
I would say we were supposed to answer Priest Hakah's question about Amos 9.
Yes. Please do answer it, brothers. My apologies.
I'll go first or whatnot. And
Hold on, Sliha, because I don't want to interrupt that important conversation. I just want to really say something for like 2 minutes real quick. First and foremost, I want to shout out all you brothers for being on this panel, man. You know, like it's amazing to see people just gathered together to get edified and edify each other as well as the nation. I want to give a big shout out to Priest Hakah, because you know he was one of my first teachers. In this walk. I was in a camp that he was part of. I walked the front lines with that brother. That brother gave me counsel when I needed it. And you know, I want to give a shout out to Nasi Zion Lexx, right? Because he also took me under his wing and actually taught me things that helped me further expand my knowledge, right? And through all my studies, you can see my pitch right there. It says Minhag, and I took that deliberately from one of Zion's presentations from class. So sorry, but it's talking about tradition or customs, right? And I think we in a unique space where we can all come together and develop our own traditions and customs, right? And what we need to do, first and foremost, in my opinion, is come together collectively, form a Beit Din or something of the sort, where we can all have these discussions and talk about the differences in doctrines and come to some kind of resolution and conclusions, right? So that way we can start instilling these traditions amongst our families, right? Because if we start teaching our families, then they'll teach their families, so on and so forth, and we have a better community that is built that can rival any community. There's a lot of separation, like you guys talked about. I've seen it firsthand, and now it's time for change. You know, and if we can all agree that the foundation is Torah, which leads to our salvation, then I cannot disagree with a brother like Priest Hakah, who says Gentiles can receive salvation.
Come on.
If they actually follow Torah.
Come on. Why was we chosen? We was chosen to do what? We forget the scope of why we chosen, acting like Gentiles don't have salvation. You see, like Priest Hakah, I don't give a goddamn what people think. I'm here for the truth. I'm here for what the Creator says. If the majority of the community is saying left is right and right is left, well, let them do that, because I know right is right and I know left is left. I'm not following the majority. I'm doing what's right. The Torah tells us we should be a light to the nations. Why? Light is used for what? To see. What are we trying to bring to their awareness? The Creator. We were chosen to bring the nations to the Creator. That don't mean that they're not going to receive judgment for their hand that they put on us. We know what the scriptures say. They're going to get their you-know-what handed to them. And we're going to be the ones to distribute it. Pause. We're going to be the ones to do it. But after that judgment is passed, of course, they are susceptible and open to salvation, so long as they admit what they did and follow the decree of the Creator. Anybody talking about Gentiles is going to be led in chains and going to be eternal slaves, to me, you might have been reading that Nubian Bible, because I don't know if you're reading the Torah talking that.
We're a nation.
The Nubian Bible.
Yah made us a nation of kings and priests. So if he made us a nation of kings and priests, it's to rule the nations and to be priests to them.
Come on.
So if we're going to be priests to them, that means we're going to teach them. We're going to teach them the devil.
Yeah, come on, man.
If we're priests to the nations, we have to teach them about Yah. But in response, they have to serve us. You know what I'm saying? So one of the conversations, and Judah Moshe, I know you want to get to that. We're going to get to Hakah's question. But I just wanted to say this: like, I would see a lot of videos, and I understand it, and I'm not coming down on the brothers in the camps. You know, when they would have the Edomites there, you know, after getting the word, they would have them kiss their shoes and their boots. And I understand that they should be made to submit. I get that. But once they submit and once they show, hey, if a person shows they're willing to do that, how much more willing would they be willing to serve the Most High by serving his people? If they're willing to submit that much on the street and be recorded kissing somebody's shoes, if we could then take them Gentiles and then put them with another group of Gentiles who under the authority of Israel, then that's how we get them in subjection. You know what I'm saying? And then they should help build they should help finance and build what we have as a people. That's how they show their work. They have to suffer too, as we've suffered for Messiah. They can't just say, hey, I believe, and still be riding on top and then just get into the kingdom without suffering like we've suffered. We got to all sacrifice for this thing. So they can't just say, oh, I believe and I'm grafted in. It don't work that way. But they have to prove their salvation by serving us. You know what I'm saying? But that's how we do it. So when y'all brothers, if y'all got an Edomite willing to kiss your feet, that's the type that's probably going to be willing to serve. So if y'all can get them and say, hey, you know what I'm saying, we're going to coordinate with other camps throughout Israel who have Gentiles, and we're going to have the Gentiles have a congregation under the authority of Israel, that they answer to our priesthood, they answer to our kingdom, and then they will be tasked with different things that bring glory to the Most High by serving us. That's how you do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we've been trying to do, you know, to model it. But so it's refreshing to see brothers stand up for the truth. That's the truth. You know what I'm saying? So anything else is not real. It's beautiful lies. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I know you wanted to get into the Hakah's question.
I just want to say this one thing before that, because that was my initial questioning to Genesis, and I know I defer with most Israelites as a Hebrew Israelite sovereign national. From my understanding, I'm saying salvation is coming from when Israel move as a governing body politic, that we take that Torah and we introduce it to our people as a constitution. And Israel being the governing body politic, when we control our own demarcation stations, when we control our own governmental structure, those Gentiles that sojourn amongst us have to become naturalized as Israelite citizens, not Israelite nationals, because they're not of the stock of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, but they have to go through some type of saying, sworn in, just like JediYAH-EL said. If they admitted to the things that they've done to us and serve out whatever they have to serve out, that and as we see it from the 60th to the 66th chapter of JediYAH-EL, we see that these people are going to be moving in accordance to this some type of geopolitical position. I don't believe in the concept of salvation is to the Gentiles based on conversion. That's based on religion. I feel as though that the Gentiles are going to have salvation through going into a state of naturalization when we self-govern ourselves. And just like I said, a person, I can't wake up and say, yo, I'm Japanese, but I ain't go through no naturalization in Japan to be a Japanese citizen. So salvation is going to be them absorbing themselves through some type of citizenship that's connected to our governmental structure as being under Torah, under the guidelines of Torah. Anything else, it just sounds religious, like they can just cling on to us, and we're not even a sovereign nation yet. We don't even have we got to get our own backyard together first. Then once our backyard is together and we controlling our demarcation stations, then sure, okay, salvation. But you got to go through this naturalization to even sojourn amongst our borders.
Right.
That's speaking, getting out of the religious mind. Most Israelites, because of social media, as JediYAH-EL's been saying, I've been saying for years, and many of y'all, it's through social media. They don't have no teachers. They don't have nobody sitting down showing them like, look, the Torah is a constitution. You can't just, when we have our Devarim tell us in the first chapter, our whole governmental structure, how we will have magistrates, how we will have court. And I'm saying the Torah can only be presented correctly when it's connected also to a court system or a Sanhedrin. You see what I'm saying? Where people can't just run around and do whatever they want to do, because now we're controlling our destiny. So, okay, yeah, the Gentile, the Goyim, yeah, y'all can have salvation, but how's this salvation going to come to them? they're going to have to become naturalized within the Israelite nation, and we on our own governing land structure with our own demarcation stations, and we in 100% control. 100% control. That's where I see that at with that. But that's all. I just wanted to make that clear because I keep hearing that the Gentiles can just convert to our way. It's not a religion. This is a nation of people. So we got to come with a nationalistic stance as to how we define in the Torah to the people. And that's how it's going to be defined. Just as we looked at it, then we left from a governing body politic, ancient Kemet 1446 BCE. JediYAH-EL broke it down, the curse as well, you know what I mean, in his writing, taking it back to 1619, Deuteronomy 28:68, and then shifting over to the land of Canaan, and we created and built our own governing body politic. We had Saul, David, all these different people, but they was moving geopolitically. They didn't look at the Torah religiously. It was a geopolitical stance, and that's how we got to take this. Geopolitically, or how you going to get salvation? Which you just going to say, oh, I believe in what y'all believe in, and now I can just soldier amongst. No, you're going to go to our governmental structure, just like you go over there to the state of Israel now. You got the Israeli government, and then you also got the Sanhedrin, or what you would consider a divinic courtship and the ecclesiastical courtship, figuratively. That would be the same stance when we're talking about the high priest and the Moshiach, or the anointed, amongst our people. There has to be some type of order that these people come amongst us, not just come amongst us at will. You can't just go to Cambodia and say, I'm Cambodian. No, you're going to be naturalized, get your green card, whatever you got to get these things established. That's the same that the Gentiles got to do when they come amongst Israel, because we a nation. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I just want to say that something real quick to that, because I get what the mighty Hebrew is saying. But when we look at the prophecy in Isaiah 56, it literally tells you that the Ben Nakar that joins himself to the Lord, to serve him and to love the name of the Lord, to be his servant, everyone that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it, and taketh a hold of my covenant. So this is what the Most High through prophecy is saying that the Ben Nakar, which is not an Israelite, has to do in order to get said salvation that is mentioned in verse 1.
Yeah.
Wait. I agree with that. But getting instruction from the Lord, we got to understand what that means. It's not going to be a Gentile, my brother, just saying, yo, I believe in the Lord, because the concept of these Gentiles are totally pagan. So their concept of Yahweh has nothing to do with the concept that they bring. We can see this demonstration right now with many Israelites bringing in Christian overtones within our nation. No, the way that they're going to get the understanding of Yahweh, as JediYAH-EL tell us in chapter 2, they're going to learn from the Israelites. Remember, the nations of the earth, they're going to go up into the mountains of Zion and learn amongst Israel. That verse has to be understood in proper context and in context. You know what I'm saying? It can't just be some random dude to just say, well, I believe in the Lord.
Yeah,
no, how you going to understand that?
Hell
you know what I mean?
It's also a Michael.
Can I say something really quick, brothers? Just really quick. Shaw Ariala did something that I think is incredible, and I think too often in our community that while we disagree with people, we disagree so much that we forget that, yeah, a person has flaws, yeah, they have doctrinal differences, but is there anything that the person did that's commendable, that's respectable, that we need? The brother produced a Hebrew Israelite Bible, y'all. I might disagree with his understanding of Paleo-Hebrew grammar, pronunciation, but this was an incredible work. We got to start showing love to each other in spite of having differences. So I'm saluting him in this moment and saying, this is an incredible work from one author to another. You know, it's been my dream to put out my own translation of the Hebrew Israelite Bible. This brother did it. When we do things, we may not always do things perfect, And who am I? Maybe he is right. Maybe I'm wrong, right? But my point is, even if we don't do things perfect, you got to applaud people taking the initiative. This is an incredible work. And if there's anybody out there that would like to support Israelite and their works, support Brother Shah Ariala. I think that this is a beautiful idea. I'm not sure what the translation looks like in full. I know it follows what he says in Lashon Kodash, but I think that we would be insane to not admit that this is incredible to see that there are people among us right now in 2025 that are doing things like this. This is just one start. This is just one person. I know that there's a couple other people that put out Israelite Bibles, but this is the beginning stages of us. That's right. This is the beginning stages of us getting it right. This is beautiful. So listen, I might not agree with everything that he may have in here, but you know what I salute and I respect? The first step that he took to be the change that the community needs to see. This is a balanced look at a person. Yeah, I could critique him. Yeah, I could be humorous. But is there anything in him that I could salute? Yup, that's what we're looking at the screen right now. Salute to you, Shaw.
Yeah, two things real quick. I just wanted to say this for the record. We're not saying that these Gentiles can just say, all right, my nigga, I'm rocking with you. Nah, you got the Bible says that Israelite, your fellow Israelite got to prove itself. So how much more a Gentile got to prove themselves? Second off, I got some of Ariala's work right here. So all praise to the Most High. I think I got a different version than the one on the screen. Maybe this is the first one, but I definitely got his work. Shout out to the brother.
Hakah, I want to say something to you, Priest Hakah.
Appreciate you.
Speaking of author as well, I'm also author of 7 books. I heard that you have a children's book. Someone told me that, so I will be reaching out to you, so I can go ahead and cop that as well. Because I found out about it because I have 2 children's books so far. Let My People Go to 10 Commandments. Let My People Go to 10 Plagues. And then I got a book called From Egypt to Egypt that I wrote. Then I got a book called The Unwritten Rules of Polygyny, Volume 1, and The Unwritten Rules of Polygyny, Volume 2. And then I wrote 2 books called Is Biblical Polygyny a Sin? And my next book I'm finna release is going to be called King James on Trial. And then I'm about to release 6 more books teaching children about the pagan holidays, etc.
Dope. All praise. Yeah, let's cross reference our audiences. I'm with that all the time.
Hey, we most definitely gonna do that. I know how to find you. I'll be reaching out to you.
I read a book on polygamy, and I think From Egypt to Egypt. Fire.
Yeah. Fire. And I'm a polygynist. I've been polygynist 23 years. I got 7 wives. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pro poly.
All praises. Blessings to your family, brother.
Hallelujah. Blessings to yours as well, King.
All praises. No Gentile women, right?
No.
All praise to the Most High.
Boy, you crazy.
All praise. And you went viral back in the day. Remember, you was. What's up with your page? You still got your page going?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I went viral. I didn't even know what I do.
You know, I remember one of your videos went viral when you was out there. Matter of fact, GMS were crucifying you for you.
For
your First Amendment, for your Second Amendment right.
Yeah, when I was in St. Louis, you know, I'm definitely pro Second Amendment. I didn't know the video went viral.
Yeah, no, they were saying they were on you, brother.
Yeah, I said, they about to find out why they call me JediYAH the Shooter.
Right. Oh, man.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's right.
All right, we have another brother that joined the stage. I don't want to misrepresent his name, so I'm going to ask him to introduce himself and go into whatever he would like to go into. Shout out to you, brother. Salute to you and shalom.
Shalom, brothers. The brother Judah Apollos, man. Very familiar with most of you brothers on the panel, is, you know, especially Judah the Shooter. Definitely. So yeah, I mean, I was gonna really touch on the Amos 9 joint that y'all was about to go into, and y'all kind of touched on it a little bit as far as the Gentile salvation being through serving Israel. And that's one of the things that haven't been taught, and it's very important to catch that part, that yeah, like the brother was saying, they can't just say, yeah, we down with you and we can just get on in. No, they have to do what it says. And so what we do is we show in the scriptures on the servants obey your masters, that these scriptures are being given as a commandment to the heathen to serve the royal people of the earth, which is why it says according to the flesh specifically. So we bring that out. We have a series called Gentile Salvation, Servants Obey Your Masters. We did about 10 years ago and have been teaching it ever since. You know, we do have heathens that do serve us now. And the reason why this has been hidden, you know, to our community is because of how much it would uplift our community. That's one thing they can't deal with is when the heathens come under us and start serving us and we end up having, you know, more of course, more substance. You know what I'm saying? That's very powerful. And you know, I feel like one of the things they did when they did the whole mix up in the 90s where they, you know, they separated that other school, the House of David. I feel like, because, you know, brother said that's when, you know, that was bringing in the bags and the police and all that and trying to, you know, mix up the whole thing. A lot of it had to do with the Gentiles and other things with King David as well. But with the Gentiles coming under us, they changed up the doctrine to be the servants obey your masters. Because I'm sure everybody familiar with the verse, servants obey your masters, Ephesians 6:5, Titus 2:9, Colossians 3. This is in the Bible. We can't take it out. So we have to explain what it is and who it's talking about. And a lot of the camps were explaining it as being the servants were the congregation and the masters were the elders of the congregation. And when you go into the Greek, of course, it's saying slaves obey your masters. So that's going even further. It's impossible for the people of the congregation to be slaves to the, you know, the leaders. And we know in Jeremiah 34, Christ did away with the whole, I say Christ because that's, you know, who was the one in the Old Testament that was giving everything, created man from the dust of the ground, all things was made by him, all that. So we know that he did away in Jeremiah 34, he did away with the Israelites serving Israel, you know, the Israelite servants. He had us put away all our Israelite servants. So that goes to show that it's impossible for that to be those slaves in Ephesians 6:5 to be Israelites serving Israelites. And of course, when we read, I'm not going to go too much into it. I'm just trying, you know, give you the basis of it. Of course, when we read, you know, servants have ruled over us. And I've seen servants on horses and princes walking as servants. They're still, even though they're in the ruling class, they're still being referred to as servants, just like we still being referred to as the royal people. So when we get into the New Testament, we see clearly that he's calling them the servants like he called them before. And when Peter, you know, was speaking and the Holy Spirit was poured out on those Gentiles, that was also prophesied in Joel chapter 2 when he said he was going to pour out his spirit on Israel and also on the servants and the handmaids in those days. So, you know, we see these things, we see over and over it's giving us commandments on being a light to the Gentiles. Their job, like it says in Luke 2:30, it says, I've seen thy salvation, that thou hast prepared before the face of all people, a light to lighten the Gentiles and the glory of thy people Israel. So as it is our job to be a light to them, it's their job to glorify us as well. They have to play their part just as we play our part as kings and priests. They play their parts as servants and be a part of the congregation. So I just want to touch on that and, you know, give it a little bit more on the Amos chapter 9. And I was interested in hearing, you know, the Hebrew breakdown portion of it. I don't see how Ariella kind of changed it up. I don't really understand his breakdown of it. I heard what he said, but I didn't get how he could kind of take out like he moved the word into making it saying he was talking about the Israelites, and I really didn't understand that part. But it's clearly saying that, you know, the Gentiles that was called by his name, it specifically says Edom and the rest of the heathen. So.
Hey, Judah, we could be wrong, though. These Hebrew scholars are about to let us know if we're wrong or not.
It's too many precepts on it.
You know what I could definitely say? There's definitely some teachings that I have over the years that I got from teachers, I'd inherited from teachers. And I think if we all admitted things like this, the community could really go forward. There's definitely some teachings, way of looking at the Bible that I inherited from my teachers that I didn't go back and scrutinize myself. This is one of them. So my stance on this that I shared with Priest Hakah the other day on Inside the Nation Radio is actually based on what my teachers told me. Maybe if I go back and look at it critically in the Hebrew, I might see something different. So through this conversation, I'm open to looking at it, you know, differently, to see, look at it again to see if I can see anything new or different. And that's just how scholarship and wisdom works, man. We keep acting like everything we know right now is perfect. That's crazy. Your information should always be open to being updated, right? That's how we keep the information going, man. So I'm gonna definitely go back to the drawing board, Priest Hakah. I'm gonna check it out again, and then I'll have an answer for you.
I appreciate that, brother. Also, too, before, I don't know if Judah and JediYAH is gonna go into it real fast, but I also need to know how I can get a hold of you, Zion. I can email you and we can exchange horns like that.
You could definitely email me at ZionLexx with 2 X's at gmail.com. I hate saying this on the live because, you know, Israelites are weirdos. But my number is actually on the screen. That Zelle number, that's my business phone.
Okay.
So you could keep that number. Of course, there's always going to be one person that's going to call me right now at that number, even though I didn't give that number to them.
I appreciate you. I'll give you some time to you know, to settle in and decompress and all that. And I'll hit you up this week so that we can schedule something. I'm looking to, you know, do maybe a simulcast, or I can grace your channel, then you can come grace ours.
Yeah, I'm with it, man. I'm definitely with it. Man.
I won't give any pre-packaged questions either.
Nah. Catch me live, man. You know, let me be wrong, let me be right, but let me be me.
God, all praises.
What verse is that in Amos?
Amos 9 and 12.
Amos
9 and 12.
Amos 9 and 12. I'll go ahead and read, and I'll be quick because I know other brothers want to do their thing. So Amos 9 and 12, it says, Lama'an Yirshu et she'erit edom v'chol hagoyim asher nigra shemi alehem na'um Yehovah et set zot. So the first part we have is Shri Edom, which is, of course, a remnant of Edom. We already know Edom is the descendants of Esau, which, of course, we already know, preaching to the choir, not Israelites. I
don't mean to cut you off. I'm reading from the Tanakh.
Yes.
So we're waiting for
Amos.
Is it
Amos
3:12? It says, "Thus saith Yah, as the shepherds rescue from the lion's jaw."
9 and 12. 9 and 12.
Okay, 9 and 12. Okay.
Thank you, Get Wise, for your supporting your donation. I agree with you. I won't say the only person missing, but I would certainly say a significant person that is missing from this conversation that would have had a great contribution is certainly good brother Divine Prospect. Divine Prospect is a busy man in Israel. He does a lot. We appreciate his contribution over the years. The conversation definitely would have got exciting had he joined it as well. And it's never too late, Divine, if you up. If not, we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and read it again. It says, Lama'an Yirshu et she'erit edom v'chol hagoyim asher nigra shemi alehem na'um Yehovah et sezot. So the first part I was saying is the word she'erit edom, which of course we know is what you would know is a remnant of Edom. And I was saying that the Edom, obviously descendants of Esau, not Israelites. This is how you already know, first and foremost, not even talking about Israelites as far as the context. Then it goes to say v'chol hagoyim. Goyim, for the most part, always means Gentiles, nations outside of Israel, unless context specifies otherwise. But here it is not. Then we have Asher Nikra Shemi Alehem, or who are called by my name. You know what I'm saying? So this does not mean that they are Israelites. This means that Yehovah will put his name upon them. He will claim them. They'll turn to him. So this is them coming up under his authority. You know what I'm saying? So what is Amos 9:12 saying? The Israelites going to be restored. You got Israel that will possess or rule over Edom, and of course the Gentile nations. You have the Gentile nations who are called by Jehovah's name. These are not Israelites by ancestry, as we will. So these Gentiles, like somebody mentioned earlier, no, that was Elder JediYAH. He talked about submission. So they're going to be submitting to the God of Israel, not Gentiles being Israelites, if you will. And last but not least, you know what I'm saying? It was something else I wanted to mention. Oh, yeah. Again, are the ones called by his name are Gentiles or Israelites. So again, in the Hebrew grammar, I say Asher Nikra'u Shemi Aleihim always refers to, you know what I'm saying, those who Jehovah was claiming as his own. You know what I'm saying? So in the Tanakh, that phrase is normally it normally applies to Israel about called by thy name. You know what I'm saying? The people of his covenant, of course. So when Amos is saying it, though, he's saying all nations on my name is called. You know what I'm saying? So it means Gentile nations who come under the authority of Jehovah through Israel's dominion, of course. You know what I'm saying? So that word name gives authority.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the story short. You know what I'm saying? From what I see.
What I started at verse 7, and the reason why I started at verse 7, because verse 7 it's speaking directly to the Israelites and how they would move during this coming of this kingdom, so to say. And then when you get to verse 12, it says, so that they shall possess the rest of Edom. They is Israel. They're the ones that's going to possess Edom. And all nations once attached to my name. Once Israel attaches themselves to the name of Yahweh, this is going to take place. Thus declareth Yahweh, a time is coming. So, yeah, them nations will, also like a domino effect, so to say. If you have a kingdom of priests, which is Israel, then you have the nation of Israel's Kohanim would be Levi. If you have the anointed in our nation that comes from out of the Davidic line, naturally you're going to have an anointed nation, which will be Israel to the nations of the earth. And then in turn, they will reflect that enlightenment, thus say, or so to say. So yeah, naturally they would have the name attached to them, but only through getting instruction from Israel. Because verse 7 is letting us know that it's speaking to the Israelites and how the Israelites would be moving and how these nations would become possessed by the Israelites in all the nations. Reason why Edom is mentioned first, because Edom was our original enemy, so to say, and our or our twin brother, our paternal twin brother. So Edom is being mentioned first, because remember, Edom is the one that made the Talmud that went up into the cliffs and the mountains where you see in Obadiah, and then you also see in Psalms, the 82nd chapter, or excuse me, the 83rd chapter, that Edom made confederate with these different nations. So naturally, Edom's name is going to be mentioned first, and then all the nations, once we, Israel, attach ourselves to the name of Yahweh, this will declare itself. So this is strictly talking about Israel and how we're going to possess these nations by the way of Torah, and we're going to instruct them by the way of Torah, just like King David put garrisons on Edom in the Book of Kings. We see garrisons put in on Edom, and David forced Torah on them. We see during the Maccabean revolt, we see John Hyrcanus, enforcing Torah on Edom as well. So this idea of possessing Edom and enforcing Torah, and I'm not saying in this sense by force or whatever, however it's going to be done, it's going to be done through us being the light to them through our government.
That's why it says there in verse 9, chapter 12, chapter 9, verse 12, that they Lama'an Yirshu et She'ari Edom, that they shall possess the remnant of Edom. So it's not just that they say, I believe in Yah, but we have to now tell them what to do. And we have to give instructions, and they have to be tangible. And another thing is that they have to be willing to donate financially. Real quick, if we could get a precept, because I'm thinking of I think it's 2 Corinthians 9, if I remember right. Real quick, second.
On what?
You know, about the Gentiles and what they need to be doing. It says if we teaching them spiritual things, they need to be giving us
the carnal things.
They need to be giving us the financial things. Where is that at? It's in chapter 8 or 9. Maybe 8. But that's what they do as we teach them.
Yes, 1 Corinthians 9 and 11.
9 and 11, you got it, Ak?
It says, let me pull it up. It says, if we have sown unto you spiritual things, is it a great thing if we shall reap your carnal things?
So, you know, as we start, that's how, you know, us as priests, they have to bring their offerings to us. And then we pray for them that they can be saved. That was what the priesthood had to intercede for people. So us interceding to this realm of the Gentiles, they have to serve and they have to be willing to bring their offerings to our people. And then through that, we're supposed to build that to help build our communities, to help build our congregations and do what we need to do to get our households in order for Yah. You know, that's the rule. So like if we just say, hey, kiss our boots and step, we missing what they supposed to do. We got authority over them and the word is causing them to submit, but like we gotta get them to perform, and through that they can earn a place. You know what I'm saying? That's how
I see what you're saying, because I see it in the Hebrew New Testament. In the Hebrew New Testament, it uses the phrase tova gufanit, you know what I'm saying? So like material good or physical benefit or whatnot. So I see that. Saying now, yeah, I see that. You know what I'm saying? But I know I did say who's gonna be wrapping up. So I guess I'll do my little last statements. It was a pleasure with talking with you, brothers. Priest Hakah, I just added you on Facebook as well, man. I definitely will be supporting you, brother. I definitely want to get some more books from Zion Lexx as well, JediYAH, and even though, of course, because I'm always a student first, you know what I'm saying? There's going to be a time where I'm going to be coming and sitting at y'all classes from JediYAH. I know I want to get better at my active speaking because, you know, I've been doing this on my own. And I for sure want to sit down and classes with Zion Lexx or whatnot, so my brother can help me strengthen up as more in the language. I'm definitely going to be strengthened even more in the Greek language and Aramaic, because my goal is to fluently be able to read the Bible in all of the major languages. You know what I'm saying? I'll end with this. Anybody that's listening, I'm telling you, be encouraged to learn the language. You know what I'm saying? Go learn Hebrew. Go learn Hebrew. You got brothers up here who know the language, understanding the grammar. You know what I'm saying? Because last but not least, if you don't understand grammar, you will find yourself going to a Strong's Concordance, taking words out of context. For example, if you look at that, I got to say it again, Matthew 1:16. When you look at the word begot and the word born, you will pull up G1080 and not understand that the root word ganeo is not the word in the text. You know what I'm saying? It is the inflected word is in the text. You know what I'm saying? So it is good to have some understanding of it or whatnot. And I will say this is a challenge to anybody in the community. When it comes to the virgin birth, we know the breakdown from Romans 1:3, Wisdom Solomon 1:7, on the king at the beginning of birth. If you all learn the Greek language and learn the Hebrew language, can you defend your stance with the grammar? That is the kill shot that's going to kill everybody's doctrine. Me and JediYAH finna talk about it tomorrow. I call it the kill shot. If you believe that Joseph is the biological father, take your breakdowns off the table. Let the grammar speak. You know what I'm saying? Because when you understand the grammar, that means you understand the thought and the intent of the author, the way the author wrote it. I'm not talking about the Immaculate Conception that was created December 9, 1854. I'm not talking that. I'm only talking about the virgin birth. Everybody who I know that know the Hebrew language, anybody who knows Hebrew and understands Hebrew and even Greek will never agree that Joseph is the biological father, because anytime you look at where it talks about his birth, it's always in the passive form. And that's something that people who believe Joseph is the biological father, it's a kill shot. It's a kill shot. And if anybody who want to know what I mean, reach out to me personally, and we can go over this about what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So from your Hebrews 2:16, 17, and we didn't heard it all. But when you understand the grammar is what's going to be the kill shot. And I believe that one day that all the One West people is going to have to go back to the drawing board and look at it grammatically. Again, take the breakdowns off the table. I want to start having dialogues with brothers who want to just discuss the grammar. You say Joseph the father, then why does his grammar say that? That's what's going to separate the men from the boys.
I think that's going to be very powerful. But gentlemen, we have reached our stay. I want to close out by just sharing something with everybody. Some of you know that I have authored books. I have 8 of them at this point. All of my books can be found on Amazon as well as Barnes and Nobles. You can look up my books online by typing in Zion Lexx, or you can type in my Hebrew name, JediYAH-EL Ben Levi. I've been writing for a very, very long time. One of my very first experiences as a writer in the Israelite community was in the year 1998. Chief Naphtali of my congregation, Shema Israel, he created something that was called the Third Eye newspaper. We would take this newspaper to Rikers Island. We would take it up north, Sing Sing. We take it to, down south. We take it to the Caribbean. And we use this newspaper in the 90s, the mid 90s, to help spread the word of our community. I authored an article in this paper in the July/September 1998 issue. At that time, I wasn't going by JediYAH-EL Ben Levi. I was going by JediYAH-EL Ben Israel. I hadn't chosen my tribe yet. So I was known as JediYAH-EL Ben Israel. I wrote an article entitled The Heritage Factor. And I talk about how European people have co-opted our way of life, et cetera, et cetera. So I just want to say to the people that you can disagree with the elders and you can not like the elders, but we got to start putting respect on people that have been around consistently. No man is perfect. You're always going to find flaws in doctrine, flaws in thinking, but everybody on this panel has been around for some time. Some of us longer than others, some of us slightly shorter, but we all been around for a long time. The Torah says the race is not to the swift, nor is it to the strong, but it's to he who endures. So there's a mighty men of Yah, of the Creator on this panel right now that have been enduring for years. There are some mighty women of Yah that have been enduring for years as well, and everybody deserves their flowers and their kudos. As we close, I want every panelist to close us out with some words, and then we're going to officially close, and we'll wrap it up. Somebody told me I should bring back the live streams. Tonight is one reason why I definitely want to do that. So we back, family. We're back. So you, in no certain order, we can definitely have our brothers go. It's up to you guys who goes first and who goes last.
I'll say this. I appreciate you, Brother Zion Lexx. Many more builds. We're about to turn all the way up. And I just want to say this. I know it's not about the views and the subscribers, but damn it, it's about the views and subscribers. And here's what I'm saying, because the more people that we can reach, the more people we can teach, the more people we could wake up to the truth. And so the fact that our brother Zion Lexx, he needs to be having at least 5,000 views per video. That's at least, you know what I mean, for the brother's work that he's doing, real substantiated work. And so I'm excited, just like I told my brother Divine, to get you brothers on our platforms that may have more attention, but still will, help our brothers. And that's what we should have been doing anyways. Like the brother Judah the Shooter got his books. I'm definitely willing to promote your books on our platform. That's fine. JediYAH, I want to work with you as well. So Judah the Shooter, you got JediYAH's number. I want to link up with you guys as well. My dear beloved brother.
I give you my number.
For sure. And I ain't doing nothing tomorrow, so we could all get on the phone. Brother Mighty Hebrew, you already know my brother. Shout out to him doing all the groundwork over there in Tanzania. And Judas Apollo, appreciate you. You already tapped in with me. I've been catching hell going through this Gentile salvation thing, but I want my brother as one of the leaders over at One West, the young leaders over at One West. I want you brothers to know this, because I may clip this with Zion's permission. I may clip this and talk about this on my platform.
Oh, you all have full permission to clip any part or take the whole video, everybody.
I appreciate
I'm taking it. I'm putting it on my channel.
I want my One Westers to know it's bigger than just One West. It's very myopic for you to think that it's only One West. It's bigger than One West. And although we don't agree doctrinally or linguistically with the elders of these brothers on the panel, those elders are still our elders. They're of our same stock. They're of our same ethnicity. And so we need to know the history. That's why I like how JediYAH did his history with his elders and the One West elders. And we need to do the same, because they're important and valuable as well. I love you guys. Peace to the chat. And I'm going to say all praise to the Most High. And last thing, I can't wait till Friday.